Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying this life ain't easy. You can't sugarcoat it, you can't avoid it. You're going to face adversity, you're going to face struggles that seem bigger than you, that seem like they're out of your control. And when those moments hit, there's no magic cure. There's no one who's going to come and save you. But here's the truth. Those hard times, they're not the end of your story. They're the beginning of your real strength. You see, growth doesn't happen when everything's going smooth. It happens when you're pushed, when you're stretched, when you're uncomfortable. It's in those moments of hardship that you build character, that you build resilience, that you find out who you really are. You don't build muscle sitting on the couch. You build it through the weights, through the struggle, through the resistance. And let me tell you, it's not about how many times you fall. You will fall, you will stumble. That's a fact. But what matters is how many times you stand back up. How many times you fight through the pain, the doubt, the fear, and keep moving forward. I need you to understand this. No matter how tough it gets, you always have a choice. You can let those hard times break you, or you can let them make you. Every struggle is a choice. Every battle you face is a choice. Will you stay down, or will you rise? I want you to hear me when I say this. You don't even know how strong you are yet. You don't know the depth of your own strength until life has tested you. And sometimes it's the toughest storms that reveal the brightest light inside of you. When you're standing there in the fire, with everything telling you to quit, that's when you tap into a power you didn't even know existed. Pain will come. That's life. But you don't have to suffer. You don't have to let pain define you. You can use that pain to fuel you. You can turn that hurt into power. You can let every obstacle, every setback, every heartbreak become the foundation upon which you build your future. Remember, this weakness is just temporary. It's not a permanent state. Today's weakness, tomorrow's power. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be strong all the time. But you do have to be resilient. You do have to keep pushing. That's the true measure of strength. So what I'm asking you to do is simple. Keep going. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how tough the road ahead looks, keep going. Keep showing up. Keep fighting. Because at the end of the day, strength isn't measured in the easy times. It's measured by how you survive the storms, by how you walk through the fire, and come out stronger than ever before. Your hard times, they're not here to define you. They're here to show you who you really are. So stand tall, stand strong, and keep moving forward. Life has a way of testing us sometimes when we least expect it. Adversity in its many forms will find its way into your journey, whether you're prepared for it or not. It's not a question of if, but when. Challenges can come in the form of setbacks, failures, disappointments, or loss. They can hit you at your highest when you feel invincible, or at your lowest when you're already struggling to find your footing. But the reality is, adversity is a constant in life, and it doesn't play favorites. The hard times, the difficult seasons, they're unavoidable. It's easy to think that somehow, if we could just avoid the struggles, our lives would be easier, simpler, and more enjoyable. But I want you to understand something crucial. Without adversity, there is no growth. The pain, the struggle, the hardship, it's not the enemy, it's the teacher. It's the force that shapes you into the person you're destined to become. Adversity isn't meant to break you down, even though it may feel like it at times. It's there to push you, to challenge your limits, and to make you rise to a level you never thought possible. Life isn't about avoiding the tough times, it's about learning how to face them head on without losing who you are or what you believe in. Struggle is not something we usually welcome, but it plays an essential role in shaping who we are. It's easy to think that we should avoid discomfort and pain, but those very things are the catalysts for personal growth. The truth is, growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you push through challenges that make you question yourself, that make you doubt your abilities, and force you to rise up from the ground you've been knocked down on. Every struggle you face is a lesson, an opportunity to become a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. When you're faced with a tough situation, you are given a choice. You can either let it define you in a negative way or use it as a stepping stone toward becoming a better person. The pressure and resistance you experience in your struggles act like the pressure that forms diamonds. Without that resistance, without that heat, the value and strength of the diamond wouldn't exist. Similarly, without struggle, you wouldn't uncover the depth of your own strength or character. It's through the tough times, when everything seems uncertain, that you gain a deeper understanding of your own potential. Struggle teaches you perseverance, resilience, and patience. It's not just about surviving the struggle, it's about evolving through it. You may not realize it in the moment, but each setback, each challenge is shaping your mindset, your actions, and your ability to bounce back. Through struggle, you learn what you're capable of when you're pushed to the edge. You realize that there's always more strength within you than you thought possible, waiting to be unlocked. The pain may be real, the difficulty undeniable, but without it, you wouldn't know how strong you truly are. Growth is forged in the fire of adversity. When you get through something difficult, you emerge transformed, not just because you survived it, but because you used it to become someone better, someone who can face even more difficult challenges with confidence. Persistence is the quiet force that separates those who achieve greatness from those who give up. It's not about talent or luck, it's about the refusal to quit, no matter how many times life knocks you down. Every person who has ever achieved anything worthwhile has had to face moments where the road ahead seemed impossible, where the odds were stacked against them, where giving up felt like the easiest choice. But it's the ones who persist, who continue moving forward in the face of those odds, who ultimately find success. Persistence doesn't mean you never fail, it means you're willing to keep going even after you've failed. It's about showing up every day, even when it feels like you're getting nowhere, even when others are telling you to quit. It's in the small steps, the quiet moments when you push through exhaustion, when you choose discipline over comfort, that the magic happens. Persistence is the muscle that gets stronger every time you use it. The more you exercise it, the more you build resilience, and the more capable you become of handling the challenges that lie ahead. You don't have to get everything right on your first try. You don't have to have the answers or the perfect plan. What you need is the ability to keep moving forward when things get tough, when the goal seems distant, and when you feel like giving up is the only option. Persistence is what allows you to learn from your failures, adapt your approach, and try again. It's the secret ingredient to long-term success, because it's not about how fast you get to your destination, it's about the ability to keep going, no matter how many obstacles you face. There will always be times when you feel like quitting, when it seems like the pain outweighs the reward. But remember, the greatest breakthroughs often come after the hardest struggles. The finish line isn't reserved for the quickest, but for the one who refuses to stop running. Persistence doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees progress. And in the end, progress is what matters. So, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you get knocked down, don't stop. Keep moving, keep believing, keep pushing forward. Because persistence is the bridge that turns dreams into reality. In the hardest of times, when everything seems to be falling apart, one thing remains in your control: your choice. It might not feel like it, and it might seem like the world is forcing you into a corner, but you always have the power to choose how you respond. Life is full of challenges, and in the face of adversity, there are moments when you have to decide whether you will let the circumstances control you or whether you will rise above them. It's in these moments that your true power lies. The choice is not in avoiding the pain or the struggle. That's not possible. We all face those hard moments when it feels like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. But the choice is in how we react to them. Will you let the difficulties define you? Will you let them drag you down and take away your sense of hope and purpose? Or will you use them to fuel your strength, to push yourself to places you never thought you could go? It's easy to get lost in the noise of life when things are tough, to listen to the voices telling you to quit, to succumb to fear and doubt. But the most powerful thing you can do in those moments is to remember that you have a choice. You can choose not to let the setback define you. You can choose to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. You can choose to find a lesson in every difficulty, to see the opportunity in the struggle. The power lies in your ability to keep making choices that move you in the direction you want to go, regardless of the obstacles in your way. When you realize that your reactions to hardship are a choice, everything shifts. The pain becomes bearable because you understand that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you control your mindset, your determination, and your resilience. You have the power to choose hope over despair, strength over weakness, action over stagnation. That power doesn't diminish in the face of adversity, it grows stronger. And with every choice you make, you build your character, you grow your strength, and you move closer to the person you are meant to become. The choice is yours, and that's where your true strength lies. There are moments in life when you'll feel weak, when it feels like the weight of the world is too much to bear. It's easy in those moments to think that you don't have what it takes, that your strength has run out. But the truth is, your inner strength is not something that's handed to you all at once. It's something that's always been there, buried deep inside, waiting for the right moment to rise up. And more often than not, that moment comes when you least expect it, when everything seems lost. And yet there's a spark within you that refuses to be extinguished. Recognizing your inner strength is not about having all the answers or being perfect. It's about realizing that even in your weakest moments, there's a part of you that refuses to quit. It's a quiet, steady force that can't be shaken by failure, by doubt, or by the opinions of others. Sometimes it takes going through the hardest of trials to realize how much strength you truly have. It's not until you're tested that you can see the depth of your resilience, the capacity of your spirit, and the power of your will to keep going, even when everything tells you to stop. Your inner strength isn't about physical toughness or an unshakable mindset at all times. It's about the moments when you are pushed to your limits, and yet something inside tells you to keep going. It's the ability to take one more step, even when the road seems impossible. It's the courage to rise after every fall, to fight again after every loss, to find hope when it seems like there is none. Your strength doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just the fact that you're still standing after everything that's tried to bring you down. Recognizing your inner strength is also about understanding that you don't need to have everything figured out to be strong. Strength isn't about perfection, it's about perseverance. It's about the willingness to face uncertainty, to embrace vulnerability, and to trust that even when you don't see the way forward, the strength inside you will guide you through. The more you face adversity, the more you begin to recognize that the strength you seek is already inside you, waiting for you to trust in it. There will be times when you doubt yourself, when the challenges seem insurmountable. But remember, your inner strength doesn't come from never feeling weak. It comes from acknowledging your weakness, embracing it, and finding the courage to move forward anyway. You've carried yourself through every tough day before, and you will carry yourself through every tough day ahead. Your strength is already there, it always has been, and it will carry you through whatever comes next. You just have to recognize it. Pain and hardship are often viewed as enemies, something to be avoided at all costs. But what if I told you that they're not your enemies at all? What if the very pain you're trying to escape is the thing that will make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient? In life, we face moments where the pain is undeniable, where hardship hits us in ways we never expected. In these moments, we have a choice. We can either resist and try to push it away, or we can embrace it and use it as a powerful force to shape us. Embracing pain doesn't mean liking it or welcoming it with open arms. No one wants to go through suffering, but it means accepting that pain is a part of life. It's the challenge that forces us to grow, to adapt, to become who we are meant to be. Pain is a signal telling us that something needs to change, that we're being tested, that we're pushing past our comfort zones. It's in the hardest moments that we discover our true potential, the strength we didn't know we had, the resilience that lies beneath the surface. By embracing pain, we learn to endure. We learn that our greatest strength comes not from avoiding the struggle, but from leaning into it, facing it head on, and learning from it. When you resist hardship, when you fight against it with everything you have, it only deepens your suffering. It can trap you in a cycle of anger, frustration, and helplessness. But when you embrace the struggle, you allow it to teach you. You allow it to mold you into a person who has faced the storm and walked through it stronger on the other side. Every time you face hardship with courage and resilience, you're building emotional muscles that will carry you through future challenges with grace and poise. Pain is inevitable. It's part of being human. The loss, the failure, the heartbreak, it's all a part of the experience. But what you do with that pain, how you choose to process and learn from it, is where your power lies. You can either let it break you, or you can allow it to shape you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Embracing hardship doesn't mean accepting defeat. It means recognizing that the tough times are an essential part of your journey, that without them you wouldn't know what it truly means to be strong. There is no growth without pain. The muscle doesn't grow without the weight. The tree doesn't grow tall without the storm. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to build something greater within yourself. It's the pain that pushes you to find new strength, new solutions, new courage. When you stop running from hardship and start embracing it, you unlock a power that can carry you through anything. You learn that no matter what happens, no matter how difficult the road gets, you have the ability to rise, to keep going, and to come out on the other side stronger than ever before. Weakness is often viewed as something to be ashamed of, something that we must hide or eliminate as quickly as possible. We live in a world that celebrates strength, power, and success, and we're led to believe that weakness is the opposite of those things. But what if I told you that your weakness isn't something to run from, something to fear? It's actually the very thing that can be transformed into your greatest source of power. Weakness, in its raw form, is not a flaw. It's an opportunity. It's a place where you can grow, learn, and rise higher than you ever thought possible. When we face a weakness, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, we're forced to confront our limits, and in doing so, we uncover the potential to overcome them. The process of transforming weakness into power doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing weakness as something to avoid or suppress, we must learn to embrace it. We must look at it not as a limitation, but as a challenge, a lesson that's there to guide us towards something greater. It's in our moments of weakness that we truly discover what we're made of. The fact that you feel weak is often an indication that you're on the verge of growth. The challenge is to dig deep, to tap into that part of yourself that refuses to stay down no matter how hard it gets. Weakness forces us to build new skills, adopt new strategies, and reframe our thinking. It makes us ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How can I turn this around? Every time you face weakness and push through it, you gain strength, not only physical strength, but mental and emotional strength. What starts as something you may feel is holding you back can become the very source of your power. Weakness teaches you humility. It teaches you perseverance. It teaches you how to fight for what you want. As you face your weaknesses, you begin to understand that they don't define you. You define them. You decide what to make of them. Weakness forces you to grow in ways that success and comfort never could. It teaches you to be resourceful, to be adaptable, to be patient with yourself as you evolve. There's a saying that goes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and while we often hear it as a cliche, there's deep truth in those words. Every moment of weakness, every time you fall, every time you feel defeated, is a chance for you to rise again, stronger and more capable than before. When you embrace your weakness and allow it to push you forward, it becomes the fuel that drives your transformation. In the end, it's not about avoiding weakness, but about using it as a stepping stone toward your own greatness. Every obstacle you face, every challenge that brings you to your knees is a lesson. If you allow it, it will shape you, teach you, and mold you into someone who is unbreakable. Weakness becomes power when you choose to face it, learn from it, and transform it into the very thing that propels you forward. You are not defined by your weaknesses, you are defined by how you rise above them. And that's where your true strength lies. Thank you.